specifics. This one goes to Derek for starters. This session, there was a bill that changed the way toll violations were dealt with, establishing an administrative process rather than running them through the Pierce County courts. Representative Sequest and Senator Kilmer voted against it. If you are already in office, explain why you took this vote. And if you are a challenger, explain how you would have voted.
Yeah, actually, Larry and I voted for that bill.
Well, then let me change the question.
Okay.
Representative and Senator Kilmer voted for this bill. So if you're already in office,
I supported the bill, and to me, when the violation process was established, it was never meant to be a cash cow for Pierce County courts. We changed the process so that now this state will, and we as Narrows Bridge users, will net more money out of toll violations, meaning that rather than, and importantly, the other thing that bill did was it dedicated the toll violations toward the debt on the bridge. So it means that toll violations will go to reduce the cost burden for all of us as bridge users. Let me say one more important thing. If we had not passed that bill, tolls would have gone up this year. The Transportation Commission was going to implement a toll increase this month. And because we passed that law, we were able to defer a loan on the bridge by dedicating the violation dollars to paying off that loan and buying down the debt. And it means we were able to avoid a toll increase. I will keep fighting as someone who crosses that bridge every day to keep our tolls down.
thank you. Marty, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
The question was, this session there was a bill that changed the way toll violations were dealt with, establishing an administrative process rather than running them through Pierce County courts. As we know, Representatives Sequest and Kilmer voted apparently for this bill. If you're a challenger, explain how you would have voted.
Is this, and question for Derek, is this the bill that has the automatic cameras?
No.
Okay, it's different. Not knowing much about it, obviously like the fact that it goes towards paying for the bridge, then I'd be in favor of it.
I haven't read the bill, and I'm not one who promised to pass any kind of legislation without reading it first. The thing that does bother me about creating an administration, anytime you create administration in Olympia, it costs the taxpayers money. Whether or not that money revenue, I like the fact that if it in fact does go towards the toll bridge, that is a good thing. But has anybody sat down and figured, is administration costing more than the other? Do we need to have an administration when we already have a system in place? Could there have been a better way? I don't know. But those are the ways that I look at things, and how I would be voting is I would check the numbers, check the balance, and see if it would be profitable and whether or not it'd be worth it.
Thank you. And now let's move on to a different area, that specifically being education. I have a set of 3 questions regarding education. So starting with Marty, the question is, how would you improve higher education and K-12?
I'll start with K-12 first. Obviously our kids are 13, 8, and 6, so we're right there in the K-12 education system. We've had homeschool, we've had private school, we've had public school now, and so we kind of have a feeling for what goes on. I was blown away when I volunteered for reading and found out that kids in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade had such varying degrees of reading ability. Some could read really well, some could not read at all, and realized that we were socially passing kids based on, their age group, not based on their talent level. So what would I do to improve K-12 education? I'd bring more local control down to the principal level, so that that principal could have more budget control, more hiring and firing control, so they know for which students and which teachers they could pair them up more appropriately to raise them up and to see improvement on one-on-one level if we can. As far as higher education as well, we have a great higher education system in the state. There's been some movements already in legislature that I do support as far as that goes.
K-12. Education is very important. This is where I get to brag. I have a 10-year-old daughter who skipped a grade and still getting 4.0. It is very important. It's not the money. You can't throw money at kids, schools, or teachers and expect people to be educated. Our system right now is down in Olympia, we're trying to make a one-size-fits-all for the entire education across the state. Every school district has different needs. Every child has different needs. We cannot micromanage this at a state level. We need to get our money out of Olympia and into local control. Because as Marty stated, that is where it is going to change. When you have local control, you have local accountability, you have more parent involvement. The parents can go to the school board, and instead of the school board saying, we have unfunded mandates, they can take control. Higher education, right now, we have a problem. All the kids entering it are taking remedial classes because we're failing them with K-12. I have to stop talking.
You know, this is an area where there's actually some difference in our records, and I think we should talk about that. You know, if you look at the last 15 years, you know, and Marty and I have gotten to know each other in this process. In the last 15 years, Marty has not voted in a single school levy election. When Initiative 732 and Initiative 728 were on the ballot, he didn't show up and vote. You know, part of actually making investments in education means showing up. And a big part of the job in Olympia is actually showing up and voting. You know, I think as you look at our challenges in education, part of it means making smart investments, and that means driving dollars towards smartest impact. Class size matters. This last year, I was part of an effort to do some reforms in education, to lay out a framework for identifying and remediating schools that are failing. I think that's important. Establishing systems so we can see what's working and what's not is important, and that's how we're going to actually not just invest more dollars, but invest the dollars we have more wisely.
Moving on to our next question, which is